All right, you guys, this is your uncle. Just want to talk to you guys about what's going on in the markets and what kind of personality you have, whether it's going to be a good fit for trading or not, to be honest with you guys. Over the years, my team and I have mentored thousands of people in the markets. And it's a thing that's very consistent. Those who have a low tolerance for volatility, or that's a fancy word for change, unexpected change to be specific. Those are the people who does the most whining, complaining, and I really don't think it's a good fit for you to be in the markets. But for those who endure, you watch people who succeed in these markets, and you wonder what it takes to get there. It's a toughness, a resilience that you have to be able to survive these markets. Now, why is this very important right now? As you guys know, the markets are just raggedy. Just to be honest with you guys, the markets are just completely raggedy. They are starting to move with a little bit more consistency now because right now you have the heated war with China, the tariff war, which is heating up. And then you have the government shutdown, which has been going on for a very, very long time. It's on pace to be a record situation, thousands of people losing their jobs and so forth. So the market is really don't know what to expect. Also this morning, I'm hearing that the federal government is actually buying stocks. Is that a good thing, bad thing? I'll let you guys decide. But when the government starts owning substantial portions of companies, and now they can say what happens in a company, that's another issue that the market doesn't like, because now it's like, okay, this is not a free market anymore. Now the government is taking over major corporations by buying shares of them, large shares of them, and now therefore they have somewhat control. So there's a lot of problems going on in the world right now that is causing the market to be very, very unstable. So here's the point. Those who let me say it like this. If you want to learn how to be a good trader, right now is actually your best time to learn it. Here's the problem with people. People think that the markets are supposed to be beautiful all the time. That's not the case. They're never going to be beautiful all the time. But if you can survive these markets when the markets are terrible, when things like just normal setups just don't work out the way they should, if you can emotionally survive that, then you are prepared when the markets do restabilize themselves, and therefore you can become a good trader. Why? Because you know how to handle the ups and the downs. You know how to handle when the markets are terrible. You know how to handle when the markets are good. That's the only difference between a good trader and a bad trader, to be honest, which is there's all these techniques and strategies and this and that, but then you'll find out no matter what strategy you use, if the markets are just spiking, then the strategy is not going to work. Has nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with your trading style, has nothing to do with any of this stuff. For whatever reason in the retail space, which I never understood, in the retail space, it's like nobody cares to take time to understand the fundamentals. Fundamentals is not technical analysis. Fundamentals is what news can interrupt my trading day. What world event can cause the markets to work against me even though my setup is perfect? Nobody in the retail space takes a look at that. They barely take. If it's not for me doing my Sunday news events, which barely any of you guys pay attention to that. So no wonder you're not doing well, because banks and institutions, they want to know the full spectrum of, okay, what is the Fed's about to do? What are the Feds about to say? What's going on in this country that can impact this, and this? And they do all of that homework before they pull a trigger on a trade, and we wonder why they are so much, they're making billions of dollars a year, and meanwhile we're struggling to make $100. Well, what's the difference? They're willing to take the extra mile to find out what other things outside of my charts and my indicators do I need to pay attention to that could possibly interrupt the markets. But in the retail space, nobody does that. And so they expect 100% win rate every single week. They don't want no volatility. They expect everything to be roses and flowers. And this is why, to be honest with you guys, I'm telling you, if you don't have a mental toughness about you, then this probably is not the best fit for you. But for those who say, you know what, I can weather the storms, no hell or high water, I'm gonna be here. This is a good learning opportunity for me to see what the markets are like when they are in chaos. And then, so therefore, once they go back to being stable, man, I can make a boatload of money. If you got that kind of mindset, then you'll be perfectly fine. But if you're one of those who's just going to whine and complain every single day, then here's the problem. You're a person who's stepping into an arena that is not emotionally fit for you. I'm going to repeat that. You are literally stepping into a game that is just not fit for you. It's just not for you. That's okay. You're a person who don't know how to take risk. You're not a risk taker. You say you are, but then when it's time to put risk on the line, you complain and cry. So if you're going to complain and cry while you're putting up risk, then truth be told, you're not a risk taker. And that's okay. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing. So in that situation, though, you need to be okay with your 9 to 5. Simple as that. You need to be okay with your 9 to 5 because it's stable. You know, you go to work, you do your hours, you put in your time, and you get a check. Okay? You guarantee money because you did your time. It's a quid pro quo, or whatever that legal term is. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Hey, I come to work, I hustle for you, you give me a check, and I can have my little fun time on the weekend with my family, and that's that. That's perfectly fine. But for those who say, hey, I want more out of life, more means more out of you. And more out of you means you're required to have to go beyond your normal limits. Now, here's a way to offset that. This is why I've been saying for years that I don't suggest that people quit their jobs to pursue trading, okay? Because trading is never the same every day. It's never the same every day. Never. It's always different. It's always something different in the markets. So what you want to do is keep your job because, and by the way, let me say this just to be clear. A lot of you guys are going to be married to your opposite. So if you are a true diehard risk taker, you don't mind taking risks, they say opposites attract. That's true because it's intriguing that the person's different from you. But here's the problem. The problem is that you are married to your opposite. And therefore, you as a risk taker tend to marry people who don't like taking on risk. And therefore, money becomes a problem and you guys end up arguing. Therefore, I suggest keep a job and still trade on the side until your trading account exceeds what you're making at your job. And at that point, then you can walk away and you can prove to your significant other it is time for this transition. And there's nothing going against them saying, hey, I need a stable income, because now you've proven that you can trade and create a stable income even in the worst environments. And here's another thing. When you do withdrawals, slide them a little something so that they can start to see. You see what I'm saying? I don't care if it's $50. I don't care if it's $100. When you do a draw, give them a little something. Here, honey, I just want you to have a little something. Where did this come from? Oh, from my trading account. You see what I'm saying? And therefore what happens is that mentally they begin to say, oh, maybe this trading stuff is okay. And they begin to support you because now they're starting to see some real dividends coming out of your efforts. So then when that transition time comes from you to say, hey, let me show you my account. What do you think? Do you think it's a good time for me to go ahead and step away? Because here's my paycheck and here's my trading account. Here's my paycheck, here's my trading account. What do you think should happen at this point? And you just allow them to be a part of your journey so that they can be a support. And it's not threatening their need for security. But the problem is you got to be a person who's okay with risk yourself. You can't have two people who just need security coming into this arena. That's like saying, hey, I want to become a boxer, but you don't like getting hit. I don't care what technique you get. Floyd Mayweather is an undefeated fighter, but he got hit. Every fight he took, he got hit. He got some hits, but he still won. So you just got to check yourself and say, hey, is this really for me? And that's a real soul-searching question that you need to do this week. And if it is for you, then forge ahead, and we're here to help. But if not, it's okay. Either way, okay? Peace and hair grease. Love y'all.